there, welcome to Teen Time. My name is Terry. I'm from St. Mark's DC Church. I'm here with these fabulous ladies. Ladies, can you introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Nardine. I'm 14 and I'm from Virgin Mary and St. Bohemia's Church.
Hi, I'm Grace. I'm 13 and I'm from St. Mark's, DC.
Hi, I'm Juliana. I'm 14 and I'm from St. Mark's, DC.
Hi, I'm Helen. I'm 15 and I'm from St. Mark's, DC.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us again, ladies. Today we're talking about how to overcome stress. So when we talk about stress, we're talking about sometimes just like the different pressures of life, what stresses us out in life, things like that. What comes to your mind when you hear the word stress?
School probably is like the first thing that comes to our mind.
Yeah, school.
Definitely school. Yeah.
Anything else?
There can always be things outside of school that like stress you out, like events. Yeah, like friends.
Yeah.
Or if like you have family problems, like or if someone's like not healthy or whatever, so like it stresses you out.
Yeah, definitely. Like if someone's sick or something in your family or in your circle of friends or church family, that can definitely be stressful. Yeah, I agree. What are some common stressors in your lives? Like, I know you were saying school is a big thing. What about lives of yourself or the lives of the friends or the people around you?
Well, like, friends is a really big stressor for me because my friends, if they're like upset or something, then they'll go and complain to me about someone else who's also my friend. So then if I like side with them or whatever, then they'll be like, oh, she said that she doesn't like you anymore. And then like it'll just get really like stressful and like messy.
Yeah, that same thing happens like a lot at school. It's kind of annoying though.
Lots of drama, right? Be like, it can be unnecessary stress almost, right? You're trying to focus on school and then there's all this other problems and stuff going on. You're like, oh, what's going on? Are you with us, Grace? What's up?
Yeah, I'm just really focused on this test. I don't want to fail it, and I want to get an A, and I want to make my parents proud.
Oh, that's nice, but at the same time, like what's the big deal if you don't get like an A or like it's okay if you get a B, right? Like it's not a big deal, right?
I guess so.
Or are you like really, really focused? You seem very focused on it.
Yeah, I
Like-
really am.
Okay. Well, what do you guys think? Do you think that like getting good grades is like can be a stressor for you guys?
Yes, because like your parents expect you to do like this, and if you don't do it, then they will get mad at you. Like if I get a B on like a math test, then my parents will be like, oh, why didn't you get an A on it? Like there's no reason why you got a B.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely parent stress can be up there with all that other stuff, right?
Or in my high school, like your grades are what controls like what classes you're taking next year, or like where you're placed now. So you let one thing drop, like you let one grade drop, you kind of have to like maintain all of them at the same time, because if you let one drop, you risk going down into a class that you feel like you're not supposed to be in, but because like you were so stressed out about everything else, you didn't do as well as you could have.
Right.
Like, and I like put like a standard to myself, like I want to get like these grades, and if like I don't like meet that, I guess like I'm more like disappointed in myself. So like I guess I like feel like I wasn't like trying as hard as I could, or I wasn't like focused.
Yeah, or like if I find out that I got a bad grade on that thing, then I'll just be in a horrible mood the rest of the day, and I'll just like give everybody attitude. Like if my sister's like, oh, can you come like help me with this? I'll be like, no, go away. Like just leave me alone.
Or it's even worse if you don't do as well as you think you're gonna do, and you just go, then why did I stress myself out over it? Like what was the point of doing that when I would probably do the same anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Sorry, we're gonna say something.
Yeah, I get like really annoyed and I just like block off everyone. I'm just like, I need to get a better grade, but like it's okay if like I don't get like a perfect A. It's all right.
Yeah. And it doesn't mean that you're like less or whatever, or does it? Do you find yourself like when you don't get a good grade, you just feel like worse about yourself and you're like, oh, I'm not good, I'm a failure, all this stuff? Or how do you guys
Definitely
feel?
like feel that if it's like happening with like multiple classes. If it's just like one, I'll be like, okay, like I need to get this together and like bring my grade up. But like if I'm like getting like lower like than I normally get in like multiple classes, I'm gonna be like, okay, like what's going on? Like why am I like doing such a bad job? Like am I doing like something wrong?
And then that adds on to more stress of trying to bring everything up afterwards. it's like an entire cycle where it's like, okay, well, I'm stressed about this. You do fine on it, and they go, oh, now we have like this coming up right after. So you go, okay, and if you do bad on it, well, now I'm stressing myself out even more because I need to do better next time.
And then you stress yourself out trying to come up with an excuse to tell your parents why you got a bad grade.
Yeah.
Your stress comes from thinking about how to tell your parents about the bad grade.
So it's not even the action, it's like just the before.
Yeah,
Wow.
because like, so for my school, they like send an email of all your grades like every single week.
That's stressful.
Yeah. So like if I know I have a bad grade, then I have to be like, before my parents see it, I have to be like, okay, what am I gonna say to them so they don't get angry?
Yeah, my grades are always like, you can access them 24/7. Like you just put in like a pin, and like it comes up for you like all the grades. I go, okay, so they're gonna look, right? They might look. What do I tell them? What am I saying? Like you have to plan everything.
Wow. Does that happen at everybody's school?
No, like if what happens at Juliana's school happened to me, like I don't know how I would like deal with it, because like normally like my grades aren't like too good until like the end of like the semester or like quarter, like when I bring like everything up. So like I'd probably like not be able to handle it.
Or like if I'm at school and my parents see the email and I have like a bad grade, like they'll text me at school and they'll be like, hey, I saw that you have a B. Why do you have a B?
Yeah, I can definitely see where that can get stressful. I think I want to ask a question though. So when you're thinking about, oh, my parents are gonna see my grades and then they're gonna get mad at me. But I have a question for you. Do you think that they still love you, or do you think that like their love is based on your grades?
No, I think your parents are gonna love you like either way, but like you just feel like you let them down, so you're like disappointing yourself too. So then that just adds to the stress too.
Yeah, like, and we already know like our parents are like always proud of us, like no matter what we do, but like we still like have like this thought in our head, like if I don't like do this, then like my parents are like not gonna love me as much, or like they're not gonna like be proud of me or whatever.
I feel like you become more disappointed in yourself than your parents will ever be in you, because you're like, oh, I need to do this, and they like see you working hard on something, and you like they see you like psyching yourself out and stressing yourself out, and they're like, well, what for? It's school. Like, it's not gonna be the end of the world if you do like partially okay on this, or if you're not doing as good as you think you could, like because of stress. Like I feel like you put more disappointment in yourself, and you put more disappointment in yourself in the eyes of your parents than your parents actually do.
Like personally, I get pretty good grades, but like, so my parents like expect for the grades to like be a certain standard, so then when it's not, then they'll be like, what is this? Like, what?
Or like I'll be like super dramatic about it. Like I won't even do that bad, and I'll be like, Mom, I need to tell you something. I got this on this. She goes, okay, cool. What do you mean, okay? Like as if I'm waiting for the reaction of how could you?
I used to do that when I was little though, like I would like prepare myself for like I'm gonna like cry like at this time, so like Mom doesn't like get mad at me, or like I have like a whole like story planned out on like why this is happening, but like it never really like made a difference.
I think you had something to say. You had something on the tip of your tongue.
Yeah.
I could see it.
Of course, like of course they still love you, but like you like I feel like you like stress more about like what they're gonna say to you than like when you're looking at your grade.
Than what maybe actually happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. Definitely. Great points. I feel like sometimes the question is, do you think God allows stress in our lives for a reason? Do you think that perhaps he's letting us have some stress because maybe if we didn't, we wouldn't really work as hard as we should on our tests, or we wouldn't try to learn as much as we could in different aspects of our lives?
Yeah, I think so, because like after like all the stress, it like gives us like a reason to like depend on God, because like God is like a great like stress reliever if like you pray or whatever, then like it like calms you down.
I feel like it kind of depends though. Like a little bit of stress, you know, like it helps you like toughen up to all of it, you know, like you get out doing better maybe. But I feel like it comes to the point where you're like, well, why do I need all this stress in my life? Like, it's more than I should, like, be able to handle. And we see things where people can't deal with their stress and, like, how they're dealing in life, and it ends up, like, going wrong for them.
That's a great point. We're gonna just take a short break, but let's get back to that point right when we get back. We'll be right back. All right, we're back on Teen Time, and we're talking about how to overcome stress. And we were just coming out of a question from our last segment there, and we were talking about, okay, sometimes God allows stress in our lives, and we were talking about, okay, why would He do that? Is it because He wants to pick on us, or is it because, like, it's for a purpose? And I think you were saying, Nardine, that yeah, He definitely does allow it, and why don't you go ahead and elaborate on your point?
Sometimes He does allow it, and I think it helps us a lot when we get a little bit of stress, because, you know, like, we become, like, we don't challenge ourselves, then we don't become stronger people. The more challenges we face, the better we become as people. But I feel like it comes to a point where it's like, this is like too much stress for me. Like, we see people who, they have so much stress following them around, and they don't, like, share it with people, or they don't do anything with it. And it just keeps piling on, that they end up doing things that, like, you know, we say isn't right to do, or it's like things that you would never imagine they'd do unless they had something, unless they were so stressed about something that they could imagine doing something like that.
Well, yeah, like, God allows stress, but, like, when you are stressed, that's, like, really annoying. So, like, I kind of get, like, when I'm stressed, I kind of get frustrated, like, God, why are you letting me get stressed? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, but I also agree with Nardine though, like every single like thing that like happens like makes you like the person that you are. So like if you just have like an easy life without anything, you're gonna seem like lazy, I guess. But like too much, like what Nardine was also saying, like it gets like really difficult, and like sometimes like you can't take it.
Yeah, I feel like it's very annoying, and you're like, well, why do I need all this stress in my life? It's one thing to have like a little bit of stress to make me a better person, but it's another thing, like, I feel like people start going, well, God, why are you putting all this into my life? And I know, like, especially for me, I'll be like, well, why do I need all this? Like, I feel like I'm, like, decreasing the chances of me, like, living a longer life by stressing myself out like this. I've lost 10 years.
Yeah, that can definitely be our mindset, especially when we're in the middle of like the all-nighter studying for that test, and we're like, okay, I'm not gonna live very long after this. In the moment, it definitely seems like, okay, I'm gonna die very soon, or like the end of the world is near or something.
Well, I feel like when you're stressed, like you stress yourself out because you like think of all the possible like bad situations that could happen, and then you like overthink everything, so then you just stress yourself out.
I feel like that's easy to do, yeah, where you go, okay, let me start by thinking of all the things that can go wrong first, and then...
That's definitely a way to stress yourself out.
Yeah, but I think of like the worst situations possible, like not even like just bad things. Like what's like the worst thing that could happen to me?
Yeah. Sometimes though that can be, I don't know, this is kind of a tangent, but sometimes that can be like, if you think of the worst thing and then you think, okay, well that's definitely not gonna happen. Mm-hmm. So then you can, maybe that's a way to calm yourself down.
The problem though is that it's a lot harder to do that than, like said, it's like you're thinking about a lot of things, you have a lot of things on your mind. So it's not
already so stressed.
You're already really stressed, so it's not easy to go, oh, well, worst case scenario, this can't happen. But you could find yourself in a situation where like, but here's the thing, it's like from where I'm standing right now, it's not as impossible as I'm trying to tell myself, which it probably is. But like I'm not seeing that now because of how stressed I feel.
Yeah, you're not exactly thinking rationally, right?
Mm-hmm. And it's not like one situation that like makes all this stress. Like for example, like you could have like a family problem like going on, and then like your friends are like arguing or whatever, and then like you're like failing school, and just like all together just like makes it like really difficult.
So many things.
Well, if you're already like frustrated from the stress, then it's hard for you to be like optimistic and be like, oh, what's the worst that could happen? Because you're already like upset and frustrated and stuff. So that's like, I mean, for me, it's like hard to do that.
Yeah, I'd say great points. And were you gonna say something, either of you? Oh.
I mean, I feel like though, like the stressful moments, they're very annoying, but they make the moments like, maybe few, but they make the moments that are like we don't have how many things that we have to do on our mind, it makes it a lot nicer and you like feel a lot more relaxed.
Oh, how so?
And you're, like, say you're thinking about things like, oh, well, I have like this to do, I've got something out of like school to do or out of like this business to get done, and you're kind of like your thoughts are everywhere, but then you like you're maybe spending time with friends and like you get yourself a few moments to stop thinking about it, and then once you realize it, you're like, wait, I'm not thinking about anything like this, and then it comes back though.
So you're just so I understand, you're saying that you kind of, even if you are stressed, you enjoy those moments where it's like moments of relief and then back to stress.
But you enjoy them a lot more, I feel like, than you would normally.
I feel like you enjoy them most so like once like you get like rid of like the one piece of stress. Like if like somebody like feels better or like you bring your grade up, then like it feels like a lot better than like knowing that it's probably gonna come back.
Well, a lot of people like say like, oh, if you're stressed, then you should like read the Bible or pray or something, which is good. But like personally, it would be hard for me to do that. Like, so when I'm stressed, I like look to other things to like relieve my stress. Like I don't know, I just feel like I wouldn't really do that.
Oh, okay, so this is something I wanted to get to as well. But just to kind of wrap up what we were talking about before about how God sometimes allows stress in our lives, I wanted to go back to when one of you were saying, you know, sometimes I just have so much in my life and I don't know, it's so annoying, I don't know how to deal with it, and why would God allow that? And I kind of wanted to explore that a little bit more. Like, do you think God has a purpose in allowing things that maybe it's sometimes too much for you to handle?
Yeah,
And
because
what could that purpose be?
I think God wants the best for you, so he wants you to get stronger. Like, even though you don't like it, you still have to do it because a lot of people do things that they don't necessarily like to do, but they still have to do them either way.
I feel like we like blame God for everything, and honestly, I'm like, well, why is he putting all this on me? Or like, why do I have to do all of this? But like, we learn like, he's not the one that provides all this stress. Sure, he watches it happen and he watches how you grow from it, but he's not the one that inflicts it on you. And it's like how everything turns out is based on what like you're doing. And of course, a lot of the times we're like, well, I'm not going to be able to do this, I'm not going to be able to do this. So I feel like we panic a lot more than we need to.
Yeah, and he also like wants us to like turn to him. He doesn't want us to just like sit there and like try to deal with it like all ourselves, because like if it's too much, like who else you can like turn to other than him? So
I agree. Anybody else?
I feel like he doesn't want us to be like lazy, so that's why he gives us a little bit of like stress. But like we sometimes like stress too much that we start to panic.
I think, yeah, I agree as well. And sometimes it makes me feel as well, and tell me what you think, but it makes me feel like, you know, when someone, I heard this in a sermon one time, when someone is like training for a big race or a big triathlon or something, their coach is going to give them more than they can handle, but they're going to train them for that moment or for that particular task so that they can actually be able to handle more than they thought they could handle. The coach keeps training them every day, giving them more and more and more so that at the end they can do the triathlon or do the marathon or whatever. And I just wanted to ask you, like, do you think that that's kind of what God does with us?
I think that's what God does with us because he wants us, God already knows what's going to happen. Like, he knows everything, but God wants, like, he wants us to kind of rely on him and trust him, like, that he can do anything, and that like we just have to trust God and stuff.
So I'm so sorry. I asked a big question, and then I'm going to cut you off and say, okay, we're going to be right back for a short break. All right. So another question I wanted to ask was, what do you guys do to overcome stress? And I just wanted to share a funny thing that I do. Sometimes when I'm really stressed, I'll just like laugh a lot because sometimes that just releases all the energy. One time actually I was in class and we were in a very serious conversation talking about like, I don't even remember, it was talking about like our struggles or something like that. And then I just burst out laughing like in the middle of the class. Everybody started laughing as well. And the teacher was like, yeah, we were talking about like stressful things, so this is probably like a good release of energy for you. So I just wondering, what else do you guys do?
Well, when I'm stressed, I run and stuff, but like my brother, when he's stressed, like he'll go downstairs and just like get a bunch of ice cream, just eat ice cream when he's stressed.
That is the best way to deal with stress. You go get yourself ice cream, just maybe bring the entire tub with you while you're at it. Bring it to where you gotta work, and you feel less stressed eating ice cream and doing work.
I like that. I'm gonna do that next time I'm stressed.
Yeah, like for me, like I like to wash dishes. I mean, like I don't like to wash dishes, but like when I'm stressed out, it kind of like helps me like calm down, I guess.
Do you like dance as you're washing? Like
Yeah, and I like to listen to music while I do it too. And like when I'm like just like sitting there, like sometimes I'll like talk to myself and I'll be like, it just like helps, I guess. It's kind of weird, but like
whatever you gotta do, man. Whatever helps.
What I do is I read my favorite Bible verse, which is Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. And I like to listen to Christian music because it really calms me down, and I meditate on the lyrics.
That's really nice. I like doing that too because I feel like it really reminds you of all of God's promises and stuff, right?
yeah, Christian music like actually like helps you calm down rather than like any other kind that just like is just like for like noise. But like Christian music like for some reason just like helps me like focus.
I don't know. I've never been able to feel that when I'm listening, if I'm listening to Christian music doesn't really help me de-stress. I don't know. I've never been able to listen to it and feel a little bit calmer.
So maybe something else works for you then.
Well, sometimes when I'm stressed, then I take a shower because I don't know, it just helps me relax kind of.
Wash away your worries.
Yeah, water related things just like help. Yeah, what Nardine said washes everything away.
It's very therapeutic, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. So another question I had was when we're stressed, we're trying to deal with everything. And to be honest, you guys have a lot going on. You have school, you have family commitments, you have church commitments, you have friend commitments, you got lots of going on. So I think it's okay. I definitely think that you guys are trying your best, and there's no doubt about that. And is there anything that you think that God really wants you to focus on, any strategies that he would like you to focus on when you're stressed?
Well, when you're stressed, God wants you to rely on him, but I feel like when I'm stressed or I'm praying for something, I'm God, please help me on this test because I'm really stressed out, then I feel like I only do that when I need something, which is, I know it's bad, but I don't know why I still do it.
Yeah, I agree with Juliana. When you you really need something, that's when you get down on your knees and start crying and say God, you have to help me. But when everything's going great, we never really think to say anything.
I would say that when you're stressed, he's looking for you to come back to him or to get closer to him that way. But I feel there are times where it doesn't really work for me. I'm okay, I'm not oh God help me, I'm gonna start praying more, I'm gonna start reading the Bible, I'm gonna start this and this. It's more of just okay, Nardine, check in with yourself. Are you doing good? No, not really. All right, cool. I don't know, it doesn't really help as much as I feel it's supposed to.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So then when that doesn't help, what do you do?
I feel I should be giving it a little bit of more time. I should be a little more patient. But I'm not exactly the most patient person, so I'm is it happening yet? Is it happening yet?
Has there been a time in your life where you were really down in the dumps of stress and you're God, I need you now, and then did something happen?
Yeah, that's normally what everyone's expecting to happen. Right when you say God, do this, and you're expecting the next second everything's perfect. But I mean it's super cool when that does happen. But when it doesn't, and it takes time, then it gets really difficult. But when it does happen, it feels amazing. Oh, God's right there, and he's actually been helping me the whole time.
Yeah. For me, so one time I had this really big test and stuff. So I was praying and I was God, please help me to do good on this and stuff. And then I didn't do as good as I wanted to do. I did okay, but not that good. So then I was really impatient and frustrated and stuff. And I was God, why didn't you help me do this? You just left me so I just get impatient, like Nardine said.
But I feel like though, like if you end up doing like better than you thought, or like you end up doing like pretty good, you're like, yes, I did it, I did it, thank you, and it's the power of God that's done it for me.
So it's kind of like you kind of take a little bit of the credit almost.
Yeah.
Wait, is that what you're trying to say?
Or like you're like, I gotta hand it to God at this point. Like he's been there, he's been helping me. I just didn't notice her. Like I've been waiting, and I've been, living in the part where I've been stressing myself out.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I misunderstood you. You were saying that you do give the credit to God.
I try to, yeah.
Okay. No, that's the great way to go. Cool. I think we're gonna take another short break, and then we'll be right back. Hi there, we're back on Teen Time. So today we were talking about stress, how to overcome stress, what are the common stressors in our lives. We talked about different strategies. We talked about like sometimes the strategies that work for us, the strategies that don't work for us. And I think we had like great conversation about it all. I'm just going to conclude as well with a few verses that I think are really helpful for me. First one is Psalm 50, verse 15. Call upon me in the day of trouble. I will deliver you and you shall glorify me. And I love this verse, and I think it really speaks to what you were saying before, Nardine, how you were saying that, yes, when you get a good mark on your test or something goes really well after you've asked God, and you really want to give the glory to God. So I think that's amazing. The next verse I want to share is 1 Peter 5, verse 6 and 7. Therefore, humble yourselves under the mighty hand of God, that he may exalt you in due time, casting all your care upon him, for he cares for you. I love those verses as well, because it really shows us that God really cares for us. Like, amidst all the stress, amidst all the difficult things, and sometimes we feel like our world is crashing around us, sometimes it's great to take a moment to stop and say, wait a second, this is happening, okay, it's happening, but I have to remember God is not leaving me, he's there. He really wants me to remember that he cares about me, and he cares about like the struggles I'm going through. He cares about the big tests I have coming up and all these things. He cares about the random drama that I have to deal with my friends or whatever. Last verse is Matthew 11, 28 to 30. Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. And I think that's like a golden verse, because especially when we're feeling so like overburdened sometimes with things that we have to do, we have to remember, okay, God is the one who really gives the true peace. He really gives the true grace in all these times of stress, right? So whenever I'm really overburdened or heavy laden, we remember God is the one who gives us rest. And I agree, sometimes it's really hard that when we want the results now and it doesn't happen, it's like, okay, where are you, God? Where are you, God? Let's go. So yeah, I definitely agree. We just have to, I think that the important thing is to keep being faithful, keep praying, and keep persevering, and then God will definitely give an answer. Maybe not the answer you expect, but he will definitely give an answer. But I talked a lot. Any other thoughts or any other challenges that you guys think? No. Okay, great. Well, thank you guys so much again for joining us in our conversation and being willing to like put yourselves out there about how to overcome stress in your lives. And thank you so much for joining us on Teen Time, and we hope to see you next time.